Good morning, everyone. I am honored to be standing with Pastors Murphy and Sykes, with their congregations, and the South St. Petersburg community to advocate for a new early voting location here in the heart of this community at the Lake Vista Recreation Center. I cannot stress to everyone how important it is to vote and to make your voice heard in this election and in every election. This one seems a little more important than we've ever seen. And I want to do my part to make sure that every individual who wants to vote has an opportunity to vote. Access to early voting sites is an easy way to ensure that those who can't vote on election day due to work or childcare duties isn't left out of our democratic process. Now, I've heard from many here in South St. Pete that they don't want to see long lines that we all remember on election day in 2012, and that the current early voting locations don't properly serve this great community. So I stand here today strong with these people by asking that their voices be heard and to pledge the City of St. Petersburg's commitment to work with Pinellas County to make equal access to early voting a reality. And I will also say that I have reached out, my office has reached out to the Supervisor of Elections office, and we've said to the Supervisor's office, look, Lake Vista is the great site to do this. We will be happy to make it available to you. Tell us what you need to make this happen. And the response that we got was, sorry, we're not interested. That's just not good enough. So I'd like to introduce Pastor Lewis Murphy and Pastor Manuel Sykes, who wish to speak on behalf of their community and on this important election issue. Pastor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just for history's sake, the scene of African American seniors walking to the polls and casting their votes is a very symbolic measure in our community, because for so long we were not allowed that right. But some impediments to that have been the long lines, especially in important elections like the presidential election. We don't feel that this important right should be inhibited by distance or by waiting times. There have literally been times where people had to be given water and a place to sit because of the length of time they were waiting and their age and health issues. What else we're talking about here is this. The ability to do that over a 14-day period gives people who are working, people who have childcare issues and other things that will prevent them from being able to vote on election day. One of the things we have to realize is that people work and they have many things to do, and to get off of a job and try to make it to the polls in time for polls to close and still stand in the line is prohibitive. Lastly, we know that there are some early voting sites, but none of them serve our community directly. They are a distance away, and downtown, for instance, lack suitable parking, and it's paid parking, and believe me, if they park too long, they will get a ticket. And so we feel that it's only fair to have a location in the south side of St. Petersburg where the residents will be encouraged to vote early, and guaranteeing that more will participate in this basic civil rights. One of the things that's fundamentally important to me, and I believe this community, is that we be given equal access and equal opportunity in voting to begin with, but in many other of the opportunities that are afforded every American. And so today, we're making this press conference to say to the Supervisor of Elections to concur with us that this site on the south side is of major importance and will increase the opportunity and the turnout for the African American community.
Good morning. We're here at Lake Vista Recreational Center to encourage Supervisor of Election to make this a early voting site. As Pastor Manuel Sykes have already stated, this is the right thing to do. Many people that work 2 and 3 jobs, they don't have the time to go downtown. Many of them don't have the transportation. Why not have a voting site right in our community, which it would make it easier for people to vote? Too long we have been struggling for this right to vote. And we know that many of our people don't have the adequate transportation. Lines are long. People began to get frustrated and they don't vote. And for whatever reason, basically because of our history. It's just the joy of going to the poll, actually casting your ballot, putting it in the box. That was the long struggle, the long fight. And so many times now, it just seems as if it's on every hand, there's been an effort to suppress the black vote. So we're very adamant about our stance, and we hope that that the supervisor of election will agree with what we're asking. Thank you.
Great. At this time, if there's any questions, I would like to invite Pastor Sykes and Pastor Murphy to the podium.
I was just wondering what kind of time frame you're hoping for. I mean, with the election only a month out.
Well, we believe as soon as possible. We believe also that it's very important to know that the supervisor of elections has it within their power to make this happen. There's no need for a long, drawn-out process. It's just a location with the necessary machines and receptacles to make it possible to vote. There's no real problem logistically.
Okay. Are you concerned that there might be some political, I guess, motives in not doing so, just with Republican supervisor?
I think that question answers itself. It's always political motivated, always has been.
And we have on record the fact that from Tallahassee onward and upward, there have been attempts to suppress the votes. Among them having been the extension of time for persons that have served their time to the, for prison terms, to be given another 5 to 7 years to be considered for restoration of rights, knowing that the predominance of the Democratic vote will be from those persons that are in prison. So this is simply taking one swipe at one thing among many that has made it more difficult for our community to be represented.